Inspiration is not emotion. What does that mean? If you're part of a group and you're excited about your own ideas or possibilities, you have the energy to invest. Sharing how you feel does not add to the inspiration. It does not bring fuel. Sharing how you feel is a burden. Being affected in a positive way so that you feel like releasing is the indication of a good effect. Okay. Now I'm telling you this because I've ran into, let me put it this way. I've ran into so many situations with people over my lifetime, and I'm 45, that certain situations draw out people that all they want to do is share how they feel, get what they want, and move on. And that's burdensome to people. Okay. And the situation is interesting because the people that say that usually are drawn to people who don't know how to say no, or they try to accommodate everybody, or they don't know how to enforce, right? They might not be parents, or they might be pushover parents. I used to be a pushover parent. I'm no longer a pushover parent. Things are going to go a certain way, and and I'm going to be peaceful about it, right? I'm not going to force people to do something. The force comes in protection, stopping, right? A lot of times, people get, and I'm getting into the depth here, but people don't know what to do with their emotions. I think that's the thread here, because a person that might need to stop bad things, but not know that it's fixed, their anger will continue, and it will say, "You're going to do this," and it's like, well, and you're going to do this. It's like an anger, right? You're going to do this. Well, that causes intimidation, right? You've already done a part of it. Now you need to adjust and say, okay, there's a way of handling things. It is probably removal. At that point, you could set an ultimatum, like, if you do this, if you do this again, or I'm even better, I'm not going to be this thing for you until you have that handled. Now, if you need help, and you come to me respectfully, then we can connect on an intellectual level. We can connect mentally. Your imagination, we both see the same things. When we describe something, we're describing the same thing. There's a connection. There's sort of symphonic resonance about that. Look that up, that phrase, symphonic resonance. It's great. Right? There's a way to progress, but your way isn't the way. Your way is never the way. My way is never the way. Y'all should all say that. Everyone should say that out loud. My way is never the way. Because good timing is always based on somebody else's readiness. Okay? If you're not ready, well, then you're the one that's not ready. Okay? So you can't decide to do everything right and have everything right. Sometimes you need to receive, okay? Wasn't planning on going into this. Let's go back to we went around a complete loop, but let's start at the beginning again. Let's talk about feelings. Let's talk about the emotions we have based on what we feel, right? You got to think of emotions as a chemical result of the relationship that you're going through, right? The effect of the relationship. If it's good, that means somebody did something, somebody worked. Let's talk about that work. What type of work is that produces availability, peace, space? Those things cost a lot. They cost a lot. Okay, it's not some effort that you do with your hands and mind alone. All right, you have to be honest with yourself. Let's talk about the drinking glass for a second. Okay, There's a beginning and an end to things, right? Now, if you're building, the beginning is the bottom. Like say you have a 3D printer or you have a clay or you have something you're just going to physically build. If you're going to build something, you start here. However, if you're going to receive something, you have to start at the top. Something has to pour in. That's the idea. Your perspective is complete opposite between applying something and being a part of something else. Okay? The feeling you're looking for is, if you're having trouble, is opposite of your methods. This is why you want to say my way is always the wrong way. Because there's no cycle. You're just a taker. You want to be more than just a taker. Now, you do want to take, but you don't want to take to get something done. This is where the work is. You want to take to accommodate the other person. Now, what you take is a burden, right? You want to know what the limit is. So, yeah, I got it. If you're, that's what you want in response to me. Yeah, okay. That's stop now. Right? But you want to know why, right? Only those who are dishonest with themselves will have difficulty receiving things, okay? And the reason why is if you receive more, if you take more, then if you take more than you need. Well, if we're talking about inspiration, if we're talking about motivation, you're sending the wrong message, first of all. There's something else I want to get into, but I don't have the words for it yet. You're sending the wrong message. You're saying, I'm using this, or I plan on using it, or I'm getting ready to use it, or, oh, that will help. That will help me do something, right? And so if we're investing in a person, and that's, okay, this is where enforcement comes in. What do we want to enforce? Honor. What is honor? Honor is doing something good with what you have, right? So I've been stolen from before. What did they do with what they stole? They threw it away. I had a work briefcase. There was just tools. They're specialized tools. It's not something you can take and sell, right? They were just sitting in the car, and it was at work. It was just a work car sitting in the parking lot, and somebody busted the window and took the briefcase. What, was there going to be money in there? That doesn't make any sense, right? I found it the next lot over. It was only like 20 steps away behind a bush. It was open. It was dumped everywhere. And so they had to, the company had to pay to fix the window. And they were mad that I left it in there. Oh, why'd you do that? It's like, I'm working all day. I'm not thinking. What do you want to prepare me for? Oh, don't do that. Okay. But they're reacting to it. Okay. Listen, you can't get away from reacting. Okay. Not totally, because there's always be something that surprises you. You might react on the inside. Okay. But if you discipline yourself, how do you discipline yourself? You limit the amount you take. Then you care for yourself. How do you care for yourself? By digesting what you took. Now, I'm not saying don't do anything else. Do what you got to do. But when you have a break, put your mind back on that. Assuming that you have what you actually need. If you're being, okay, training. Let's say you're going through job training. You think they don't feed you lunch? Your maintenance needs are not hidden. It's whether or not people are looking for them. Okay, now how about you? Are you looking for maintenance needs? How's that bouncing around? Are you looking for the reception port? Or do you expect them to build a glass? They shouldn't. How about this? Everyone's excited to invest. And some people just want to build. Some people just want to build. Think of building as a child with Lego. Supposedly Legos, plural. Whatever. Legos, doesn't matter. Lego my grammar. Think of that as playtime. If you want to build, you're just playing. Now, if you're listening to this and as you're taking it to art, it might discourage you. Don't be discouraged. It's just a matter. It's okay to do those things. I'm not. Don't stop doing those things. You need a release. Sometimes you just need to vent. Think of it as a vent. People can relate with the vents. It's okay. But to stay there keeps society immature, right? If you're not being attacked, if you're not being accused, if you're not being persecuted, you're probably missing something, right? In other words, you're not changing anything, right? Making people feel good, see that as vindicating them. But if all they do are make decisions and get vindicated, what does it matter what they do, right? You're just building this mountain, this monument to neglect. You want to avoid those things. Avoidance isn't the priority, though. It's an indicator that if you're able to avoid, it's because your priority is right. So the priority is to avoid. You're just gonna keep avoiding, right? You might be avoiding pain, or you might have made a commitment to yourself. Well, I'll never do that again. That shows. How would you say? Let's coin a new term. Priority focus. The method of priority setting. There you go. So your method of priority setting determines everything in your life, right? That's the real thing that needs attention is your settings. What are your settings? All right. What is a setting? A setting is the foundational effect determiner, right? So if you set the table, you go put plates, glasses, silverware, right? It's accommodation. A setting is the effect. The purpose of a setting is to accommodate something, right? If I walk around with my pants hanging half down, I'm sending a message. That message is determined by people who are aware of and have experienced certain situational effects based on other people's decisions, right? So there's like a mountain. You can't see the other side. There's one person on this side and a person on the other side. You can't see, right? So some people might be influenced. They'll have their own reasons or see other people who had reasons that also didn't understand. So there's this ongoing. See, there's like a snowball on the top of a mountain, right, or whatever, and it grows and it grows and it changes as it goes. It's changing. Growth is change. So it changes on the way down. It looks different at the bottom than it does at the top. Right? So the feeling you get might be a positive thing, but initially it might have been a negative reason. Well, if they're happy about it, they might be deceived, and so then there's like you don't see. Deception can only live in the dark, right? And you actually go into the dark, go to a place that other people can't see, right? Whatever. You have to get out of the way. You have to hide. Okay, well, where are you going to hide? Well, I don't want to hide. I want to be brave. Oh, okay, so what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to promote that thing. Well, now you're spreading darkness. So, it just breeds deception. Our language, the definitions of words have been institutionally changed. Their meanings haven't changed, but the words of those have changed based on that avoidance mentality, right? Like, I was studying movies and like, why are they so bad now? They just don't taste the same. Like, what's going on? Right? And then I hear people's rhetoric about, and the rhetoric isn't a bad thing. It's just the speech patterns. Think about the speech and attitude patterns of communication. Okay. I thought, well, people were promoting diversity in movies. Yeah, okay, whatever. But that shouldn't take away from the experience, right? Legitimate diversification shouldn't dilute a positive experience. So I thought, well, maybe diversity is the reason, because it doesn't seem like anything is happening in these films. There's no resolution. Okay, so let's look up diversity. In fact, let's look up the opposite of diversity. The word was focus. Super revelation. Major clarity bomb. Okay, major clarity bomb. Why do I call it a bomb? Because it's like Luminaire from Chrono Trigger, sorry. right? It's a light thing that remove the whole thing in an instant. That's what clarity does. If you have clarity, it means you don't have a reason to deceive yourself. You can see clearly and you can get a result, right? The result's the key, is the whole point. If you can't get a result, you're misled. That's just how it is. And the misleading is in there based on, see, your heart feels everything. And your mind goes, oh, wow, I like that. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. No, 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 no. How come to do luck such a perfect town? Right? If it's, yeah. There's a cyclic, we want the cycle of happiness, right? Now, for me, when I experience something good, I think, well, how can I keep that? What do I do to get it again, to keep it? And how can I not burden other people? And how can I simplify, right? And so I'll get in and I'll draw diagrams and do all this stuff. And say, okay, this is a point, that's a point, this is a point. Let's test those things. Do I get anything from those things? And sometimes I do. A lot of times I do. Most times I do. Then I want to say, okay, I don't mind doing that one. I don't mind doing this one. I don't really like doing this one. So let's find somebody who likes doing that one. If you find somebody that likes doing it, right? And you're, how about this? Let me pull back. If you're patient with yourself, you won't be burdening other people with pressure to say yes. Especially if you are a provider of anything. Like people, they don't want to lose what you provide, and they might not be mature in their love, right? They might just build. If you build and don't fill, that's a maturity point, right? Our son isn't even a teenager, and he understands this. We've spent so much time and energy, and it's not gone to waste, right? So if you have to fight somebody off because they've been molded wrong, well, that's the babysitting portion, and it's taxing, to say the least. It's an unending fight. Okay, but if you understand personalities, you'll accept yourself, you'll find them and understand them, and if and when you deal with them, the approach will be such that you won't make the problem grow. If you're not making the problem grow, well, that's better than making it worse. But it doesn't mean good things are growing. So you want good things to grow. Okay, so you need the Bible. You need the Bible. You don't like how it feels because it doesn't vindicate your past decisions. It lets you know what your current condition is. And only determination and the determination to honor helps you take that next piece and starts the digestion process. There you go.